Welcome, I'm Dr. Werner Absinger. I'm the program director for the Sekia Institute for Culinary Education, and I'm thrilled to welcome you all to this Nations Cup celebratory dinner. I think you're in for a treat. I've seen the plates. I was not allowed to touch yet or try yet, so I'm looking forward as much as you do to having some good food tonight. But before we're gonna kick it off, I gotta thank some people, we gotta introduce some people so we can get rolling. So I need to thank our sponsors for Nations Cup 2019, which are Amway Hotel Corporation, Experience Grand Rapids, Gordon Food Service, Cisco Grand Rapids, Mercer Culinary, and HRI. Thank you so much for making this possible. And then I need to introduce a couple of guys you never, ever, ever see because they always hide behind the camera. So Klaas Quandt, Noah, thank you for making all the beautiful video footage for us for marketing purposes. Thanks so much. Also, I need to single out some individuals. I usually don't like doing that, but literally, they worked for a year and a half to bring this event to fruition, and that is Chef Michael Kidder, Director of Operations. He's hiding in the back. No, he's right there. I need to thank Professor Sasha Ahmed and Audrey Heckwolf, who had substantial work to do. By that, I mean paperwork to organize all of that. So thank you for that. And our indispensable department administrative assistant who kept all of us in line and in order, Ms. Marsha Arp. And finally, we need to thank all our GRCC Sekia Institute volunteers, whether they are students or alumni. I'm telling you, alumni came out of the woodwork for this event. So thank you so much for the volunteers and the alumni. And ladies and gentlemen, now before I go hide in the back and get dibs on every plate first, I would like to introduce the president of GRCC, Dr. Bill Pink.
Thank you, Werner. Good evening. Okay, you guys are awake. Not sure about you. Good evening. Good evening. You got to understand, this is one of those evenings that is full of excitement and fun. And part of that excitement is because of you. You have to help generate the excitement because of the teams that are here, not only from several other countries, but also our team from right here on campus. You've got to encourage these young men and women. You got to help them understand that it's a cool thing for us to be able to not only celebrate with them tonight, but to eat their food. And so you have to really get fired up and excited about this. So when they're out here, when they're doing their gig, please make sure you encourage them because this is cool. And some of them, you may sense a little tension and a little nervousness because they'll have to talk to the judges about what they just prepared. You got to encourage them. So I'm glad to see such a good crowd out tonight. I want to start out by again saying thank you, a few thank yous. Thank you to Chef Werner Absinger and our whole Sekia Institute faculty and staff for this incredible feat of putting this event on. What you are experiencing tonight is only the culmination of several days of competition, and before those competition days, several days of preparation. Would you please give another hand to our staff here? I also want to recognize some other folks in the room right now because I'm always encouraged and really big on pointing out when our GRCC family is in the house. So we have several of our faculty, staff, and staff here from campus. Would our GRCC family please stand and be recognized as well? Please stand. I also am fortunate to be able to celebrate in having a great Board of Trustees here at this institution. And I'm honored also tonight to introduce to you one of our board members who is here tonight to engage in the festivities, Trustee Kathleen Brunsma. Please give her a hand. And one more group, and I think the most important group to me, that is here tonight that I want to recognize as far as our GRCC family is concerned. You see them lined over there, our students here, because it's all about our students. That's why this institution is here. And my last thing that I like to do that sometimes I get hit once I get home for doing it, but I do it anyway. It's always good when your better half is with you. So my wife, Lori, and our daughter, Lydia, are here. Please stand. Go ahead and stand. Go ahead. There you go. Well, we're going to have a good time tonight. I want to introduce to you one more person, then I'm going to sit down and shut up. The person I want to introduce to you is someone who's been a part of this Nations Cup here in Grand Rapids at GRCC ever since its inception in 1999. This gentleman is that person that when you are here on this evening, you always see him. He's always either helping out through emceeing, as you'll see him tonight, kind of leading the charge. But he is an individual who has been involved in the culinary industry for over 40 years. And what he does in terms of his work is always exemplary. And we're honored and privileged to make sure that every time Nations Cup happens, this gentleman is part of our family. Would you please welcome Chef Graham Findlay.
Big thanks to Dr. Pink there. It's great to be here. It's always very nice to be here. As he mentioned, for over, well, nearly 20 years now, I've been coming back to see this expanding city. So it's wonderful to be part of your competition once again. Long may it continue. Hopefully 2 years' time I'll be standing here once more. I'm counting on having a chat with you. I have one last thing though, because you mentioned that when you go home you might get beat with a wife. Yep. Okay, so, now this is not a wife beating stick from Scotland. This is a spurtle for stirring your oats in the morning. So no excuse tomorrow morning. You make a nice breakfast, you'll be fine. I'd also just like to echo the thoughts of Werner and Bill regarding the Sekia Institute. It's unbelievable the way that we're welcomed in, not just me, but the teams every year, welcomed in by the staff. The work that Mike, Sasha, and Audrey do is unbelievable. Very good. And then, of course, Holly and Dan tonight, the front of the house, brilliant. They've got Luna there helping out short notice in the store, making sure everyone was there for the teams this week. The students that have come along to help out, and as Dr. Fink mentioned, the alumni. It's incredible. I've met Tara, I can't remember Tara's through the back there, but I think she was 2009, she came to Scotland to do an internship in Gleneagles Hotel, one of the top hotels in Scotland, and here she is walking through the door today to welcome us again. So it's really, really good the way that they come back and help out with this great event. Okay, of course, the most important people here are the students and the coaches, sorry. The students and the coaches from the competing countries. Without these guys, there wouldn't be any competition. So it's really good that they take the time and effort to practice and then to come along and undertake the competitions. No easy task. I don't know if you've been watching online this last few days, but some of the ingredients that they have had to work with, and yet in producing these incredible dishes has been fantastic. And I'm not sure there'll be many chefs in this world that have handled a goat and butchered it, but these guys have and did a wonderful job. So big hand for them, please. Yeah. And so the competition's set up. We have the students and the coaches here to undertake the competition, but there'd be no competition without the judges. So it's a big thanks to these judges who give up their time, their commitment, the professional expertise, and also the way in which they nurture the students as they're doing these competitions is absolutely fantastic. Year in, year out, these guys come along here and undertake it. And the first one I'm going to introduce, I'm sure he's, as we say in Scotland, a well-kent face. Ladies and gentlemen, could we have Chef Angus Campbell? I'm not going to kiss you though. Angus, as you know, is a retired professor from the college, currently doing consultative work with some international and national companies, and a master craftsman of the Guild of Chefs. Sorry, Angus. Again, due to his imposing nature, a well-known face in the Grand Rapids culinary scene, Chef Joseph Huber. Thank you. You made my job easier. Joseph, as we know, is the executive chef at the AHC, Amway Grand Plaza. And it says here he's from Salzburg, Austria, but I've known him all the time I've been here, and I think he was born in the Amway. He's been there that long. And of course, he's been a friend and continues to be of the department for many, many years. And finally, from Scotland, coming in here is Chef Ian MacDonald. Ian is the Food and Beverage Director of the St Andrews Links Trust. For those of you that are golf, that is the home of golf in the world, not just Scotland, in the world. So can I suggest that if there's any golfers in the room, you're planning a visit to Scotland, you get this guy's email address before you go. He'll sort you out. Just to finish with Ian before we get the students. And Ian is a former president of the Federation of Chefs of Scotland, held that high honour, and has also competed nationally and internationally in culinary competitions. So the three guys there have got the expertise that the college was looking for to make sure that the students this week were judged very fairly. And I'm sure when we see the outcome of the competition, we'll understand the reasons. Thank you. Okay, so the most important people are sitting there waiting and saying, shut up, let us get in here. So, first of all, I'd like to welcome Team Canada. Ladies and gentlemen, Chelsea Hopner, Ryan Llewellyn with their coach, Kevin Boyce. Next up, we have Team Mexico. Ladies and gentlemen, Gabriela George Hernandez, Emilio Leal Cruz, and their coach, Rodrigo Abanye. These names I'll get spot on. Ladies and gentlemen, Team Scotland. Music. Shannon McNeil, Sophie Taylor with their chefs, Kerry Dewar and Stephanie Tanner. And last, but by no means least, Team USA. talk over her, didn't you? Sorry, Donald. Ladies and gentlemen, Sydney Hyde, Shaylin Owen, and their coach, Sasha Ahmed. Okay, so now's the time that you've been waiting for. This is the food. The food's about to arrive. And there's a little change to the format this year. We're going to serve you first, and then the students will come out with the dishes for the coaches. So you'll be listening to the critique, the dishes and what the provenance of them are as you're enjoying them at the same time. So hopefully it'll be a nicer experience for you this year. So before the ladies and gentlemen depart, please, just one last round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Team Mexico, Gabby and Emilio.
Ok. Bueno, buenas noches. Mi nombre es Gabriela George y él es
Emilio Leal.
Esta noche les preparamos una entrada elaborada a base de lengua de res y cabeza. Todo esto fue embutido y fue refrigerado para que tuviera la consistencia que tiene. Arriba tenemos una ensaladita de diferentes hierbas, rábano y en medio tenemos zanahorias encurtidas. Además tenemos un puré de frijoles y un guacamole.
So hi, we are Team Mexico. We are presenting you the main course of the night. So we decide to bring you a principal dish of Oaxaca. So we have a Oaxaca head cheese that is made from the head of the pork and the tongue of the pork, and also that it's cooked and then pressed into sausage to take that form. And over that we have a calite salad. Calites are plants that grow up as a wild way, so we can find in every place. Also, we have jalapenos vinaigrette over the salad, radishes, and a homemade Oaxacan goat cheese over the salad. We have black beans puree and also the traditional guacamole. So please enjoy it. We have in your tables, so all the tables, smoked tlayudas. That tlayudas is a kind of tortilla, a thinner tortilla, but it's crispy. So please, all the room can take the tlayudas as a tostada for cooking your dish. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed.
The questions. After the questions.
The dust that's over the top of the dish, the dust.
Oh, yes, is tortilla ash.
Tortilla ash.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Team Mexico. Ladies and gentlemen, Team USA. Thank you, Sydney and Shaylin.
So this is our fish course. It is a Michigan whitefish smoked, so it's straight out of Lake Michigan. It's been smoked and then put into fish cake with potato, chives, and a lemon. So it has a little bit of brightness there, and then it's breaded and fried crispy. It's sitting upright in a sauce made from sweet corn infused with a little bit of bacon and aromatics. Around the outside of the plate, you have an herb pesto with tarragon, arugula, and walnuts. Inside the sauce, you'll see a cold sweet corn, pickled sweet corn with dill, and a butternut squash maple syrup puree.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have settled down up here on the judges' table. So we've started to enjoy the meal, the same as yourselves. And I'm just going to talk a little bit about that first appetizer course that the Mexican team brought out. We were watching them over the whole week prepare it as they were competing. So it was a really interesting dish, something that probably is traditional to most countries, but especially Scotland. And we were really thrilled with that dish. It was extremely flavorful. And the overall service of it, the way they produced the salad and especially the ash was incredible. The little bread that they had, they actually brought it up from Mexico. And they took it in. They were very, very careful with it. You know, that it was sitting in the kitchen most of the week, and people would just walk by and hopefully just pick up one of these things and eat it, but they were protecting it like it was their lives. So it ended up on our tables tonight, so that was wonderful. And the Mexican team worked really hard, diligently on their food, and Coach Rodrigo worked on the pate that we had, or the head cheese. But it was extremely flavorful, and we really enjoyed it. Joseph?
Yeah, I second what Angus said. Also in Austria, we have something very similar to that, which is also a head cheese. What we would do differently there would be that this would be served with oil and vinegar and some onions on top of it. But it's actually eaten as a lunch usually on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, so sort of middle of the week, with some boiled potatoes, out in the country. I grew up on the farm, so everything was on the table sooner or later. But coming to the second course, this whitefish cake I actually really enjoyed, I have to say. I think it's a hard thing to do, to make a fish, which is traditionally, when it's smoked and cooked, and then crumbed up, and then reformed and reshaped, and then added some stuff to it, and then put the breadcrumbs, and then put it in the fryer, fry it out to actually have it moist. But this actually was very tasty and moist on top of it. And I thought those pickled corn went really well with this. So congratulations, Team USA. This was a fantastic dish, I thought.
Yeah, I think I'll second everything the two gentlemen to my right said. The head cheese, back home we have something very similar. We call it potted head or potted meat. So what it is, you're getting to use every part of the animal. You're using the head, the tongue. You're getting the jelly, the gelatin from the cooking stock, and that's what's going to set it together. And when I was young, I hated it. Now I love things like this. So it's my father used to force feed it to me, but then that was something else. And the fish cake, I think it's really a take on a chowder, really, not a clam chowder, but it's sort of chowderish with the corn. Yeah. But no, very good. And all the students this week have worked extremely hard. The teamwork between them was great, and also they were learning from each other. I think that's part of, in fact, that's the main part of the Nations Cup, is bringing these different cultures together. And it's really good to see them interacting together in the kitchen. So well done to them. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to share a little bit about the competition, if you don't mind. For the last 2 days, the students have been competing in what's called a mystery box category. So what's happened is that they've walked into the kitchen, and at a given time, a box of food arrives on the table, and the box of food is exposed, and they have no idea what's in there. We've tried to get as creative as possible with these items, and this year we had a couple of real beauties. We introduced live trout last year, and they were swimming around in a bucket. So since then, the students are pretty confident that we're going to come in with some kind of farm animal or other. But we expose the box, they take the items out of the box, and they have 20 minutes to shop. And then the shopping stops, and they're not allowed back into the refrigerators or back into the dry storage area. And then they're given an hour and a half to start and prepare their food and come up with 4 portions of their created menu. They must write the dish that they have created and give it to us after the 20 minutes of shopping. So it's really incredible to watch them when the box is exposed. This time we had this large frame built, and we had it covered with a table linen, and we pulled it off, and there was 6 half goats hanging there, which was really, and then they were given the whole goat. And they did just, and you know, when you think about it, a second-year student, no idea, from a different country, arriving in the kitchen, and we give them this, and then they can come up with something that impresses us so much, we're going to award them a gold medal. I mean, it's just remarkable what they do. So that's just a tiny flavor. Joseph will elaborate a little bit.
So talking about the goat, Team Scotland had no problem breaking this down. They were right on it. But yeah, you know, the funny thing is really when you look at this mystery box, and it doesn't matter what it was, if it was a whole honey frame or from honey right out of a hive with some cheese in it and some lavender, and I look at the box and I think, this is what I would do. With the goat, I'm thinking we gave him some garam masala, some curry, the goat, and what else was in there? No,
the mango,
there was like tropical fruits and the mango and papayas in there, and this box was geared towards sort of an Indian cuisine with what we thought gonna come up, but everything else come up but that, you know. So we had from spring rolls to croquettes to everything else we had, you know. So it's kind of really funny because we are talking amongst each other and say, so what do you think we're gonna see, you know? And then you see the kids go shopping for 15, 20 minutes, and you're gonna see actually what they're gonna have on the tables to work with, you know. And then they have an hour and a half to produce this, and we'll be able to show you afterwards when we award the medals, what kind of dishes they actually produced. And I tell you, there are some of those dishes I would have no problem serving in the restaurants. No, they are this kind of quality of a dish. You know, but so yeah, I think this is a great thing, and thanks God I'm not competing. No?
I think the thing about getting the microphone last is everybody said everything else that needs to be said. But I'll just second what the two guys have just said. But it is amazing to see that they get exactly the same ingredients, but they always come up with, well, today it was 4 different dishes, all very tasty. Some use just the leg, some use the shoulder, some use the tenderloin, some of them use the offal. So we had a couple of dishes with liver on it. But it's just different cultures and what they eat, and that's what they cook, and that's why every one of them comes out great. They may look different, but they all taste brilliant in their own way. So well done to them. Oh, yeah, say something.
One of the interesting things I found, especially this time, there's we're not going to give away our ages, but there's probably 100 years of experience here. And we learned every single day that they cooked. we learned a new trick, a new technique, a new way of approaching food after all that we've learned throughout our lives of cooking. These young people come in and we actually learn every single time, which is really incredible. Oh, you actually want to see me now, yeah? Anyway, next course is coming. Enjoy.
Okay, folks, we're almost at the one for the Scottish team to produce their dish. But as is normal in Scotland, we have to have a dram to go with our dish, yeah? So what you're going to have tonight is a malt whisky, Glenkinchie, which is a distillery just outside Edinburgh, the capital in Scotland. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Take a little sip, keep some for your main course, so don't down it in one, it's not a shot. Enjoy, thanks.
If you want to enjoy your whiskey properly, you want to take a teaspoon and take about this much, you won't be able to see this, but about this much of water and drop it into your scotch. This is going to open the flavor completely out. It's very, very important. Now, this is Glenkinchie, and this is a malt. I'm not sure of what age this is. So this was made with water that came out of a Scottish mountain and flowed down, perfectly clean, beautiful water, filtered through thousands of years of peat. And I've just put a little bit of Grand Rapids city water into it. So I'm not sure that was quite kosher, but if you leave your whiskey for a little while, it'll open out completely. The flavor will change. And if you're able to leave it for more than 5 or 10 minutes in front of you, you'll notice that it'll change continually. My father used to pour a dram and put a little bit of water in it. Then he would go out and finish his work. And then he would come in and enjoy his dram. Because it's very harsh right now. So it's real important that you open it with a tiny bit of good water.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Sophie and Shannon from Team Scotland.
So we're just going to adjust your plates. Yep. You're welcome.
All right. Yeah, so tell us about your dish.
So today we have sous vide of quail that was finished off pan-fried with a bit of seasoning. Then we've got a bonbon with the quail leg, some of the jus, apple, ginger, panade in some oat crust, and then deep fried as well.
We also have a whiskey sour gel to complement for coming us to America. We pickled the chopped mushrooms and sauteed them. And then our jus is Glenkinchie whiskey and heather honey and our mustard.
This looks absolutely fantastic, ladies.
Thank
so
you.
you mentioned sous vide. Can you explain this term, sous vide?
So we water bathed it at 56 degrees for 25 minutes for the breasts and 45 for the legs.
So 56 degrees would be 140, 36.
Yeah.
And for how long did you cook this?
The breast 25 minutes and the legs 40 to 45.
45 minutes, okay, thank you. Yeah, this still looks absolutely phenomenal. I'm looking forward to having this. Yeah, thanks,
you.
ladies.
Yeah, very much.
What was your favorite box? What do you think your favorite mystery box was out of the 6 that you had?
Oh, definitely seafood.
Seafood. Yeah.
The seafood?
Yeah. Because we have a lot at home, so it was a lot easier to think of stuff to go with. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ladies.
And maybe I'm a wee bit biased, but I thought it was excellent. I think the girls did really well. I think the flavors, they've really thought about the dish with all the ingredients they put together. I'm not really a I shouldn't admit this, but I'm not a whiskey lover. But I loved that dish. So, yeah, well done to the girls. Over to Joseph.
Yeah, actually, I thought the same thing. I'm usually not a quail lover, no, but I'm a Scotch lover. But this quail was actually delicious. No, this was this kind of almost like a sweet puree on there. I couldn't make out what it was. It was apple or pear. I wasn't sure what this was, but this was really good. I think this was a great dish. Now, if I, as a judge, just as a judge speaking, compared to the other two dishes, no, what would I look at is, now obviously composition of the dish, no, how difficult is it, no? How technically advanced was this dish versus the first one versus the second one? How does this flavor profiles go together? No, is this main ingredients of quail, no, which is the center of the plate? Is it the focus, or was the chanterelle mushrooms the focus, or the spring onions? Everybody remembers that on the plate? Or was this the second plate? No, this was the quail plate. I'm certain about that. So, but yeah, this is what we're looking at when we're charging, you know. So it's, and by the end of the day, I think we need to charge actually which dish was the best of the night's dishes as well. So.
Have you all finished your whiskey?
Yes.
Yay! I kept a little bit of mine until I actually had the quail in my mouth, and I had a little tiny bit of the older whiskey that had sat for a while with the quail, and it really accentuated the flavor of the quail dramatically. So I really think that the composition of this dish was very good. It is extremely difficult for us to judge dishes that are so diverse. How do you choose one without becoming, biased towards one or the other? So technique is really important, and also, as Joseph mentioned, just the marriage of the flavors. So as we're eating, the addition of the little dram really helped that dish go forward as far as the flavor profiles were concerned. Plus, it was really nicely cooked, as they all have been. So that's what we're tasked with this for the rest of the evening. I hope you enjoyed your little whiskey and enjoy the next dish. We're looking forward to it. Oh, yeah. So they want us to do a little karaoke. So my song is about retirement. I was a chef instructor here for 26 years and retired 4 years ago, and have just the most incredible memories of GRCC and the Sekia Institute for Culinary Education. My background is obviously as a chef. When my apprenticeship was in Scotland, and then I went into education and followed through. I went to the Caribbean, to the Bahamas, and was the chair of the department within the Bahamas Hotel Training College before coming to the United States. So it was a choice of 30 miles this way or 3,000 miles the other way. So we could only afford to come this way. So that's why we're here. Yeah. But it's just the memories of being here is just, it's incredible, especially this week, because when you come back and you see everything, especially this competition, because I was involved in it so heavily at the very beginning, it just makes me want to make it just last a lot longer, make it a lot bigger, a lot more successful, and have all of you back here to enjoy it. Because the students are the winners. That's the most important thing. And when we talk to them, we really are focused on their education as far as food is concerned and cuisine. So as Ian was alluding to, for a young 18-year-old Scottish girl to be working beside somebody from Mexico and see what they're doing, they're going to go back and just wonder what on earth this was all about, and they'll really understand so much more about the food, because the students then go in and taste the other people's foods, which is really, it's just fantastic. So I managed to marry food and education, and of course wine and beverage. So I've had a pretty good career.
So a little bit about my background for those who don't know me. I was not born in the Amway, as Graham was hinting to. I'm a native of Austria, born in Salzburg, a little bit south of Salzburg. So if you have seen the movie Sound of Music, when you look out from my mom's kitchen window, you're literally looking some of those hills where some of those scenes were actually filmed on. I did a traditional 4-year apprenticeship. We follow up with college in Salzburg, and then did a tour de force around the globe, including Africa, Disney World, Hawaii, New York, Palm Beach, and so on and so forth. And ended up 22 years ago here in Grand Rapids, and I absolutely love it here. We are big supporter of the college. We love the students from here. We have a lot of students working for us over the years, and we have chefs which also came from this program up here. Now they're working for us now in the capacity of chefs, and also teaching and training the next generation of chefs coming up. So I really I feel strongly about these competitions, because it really supports and forces kids to step out of the shadow, to do something which they have not done before. They also experience new cultures. They're going to make relationships and contacts with other students, which hopefully last a lifetime. We did have a few students, they get happily married afterwards. Yeah, after those competitions. So yeah. You're last again, Ian.
I'm always last. Just a little bit about my job. I have the best job in the world, I think. I get to play golf every day. Oh, no, I don't. That's what I dream about. I work at home at golf. We have 6 food outlets, and we have 7 golf courses in St Andrews. We are the only regular course on the British Open scene. We get the Open every 5 years, although we're supposed to have it next year. But because 2021 is the 150th anniversary of the Open, they'll have that in St Andrews. So we're 6 years between Opens this time, and then we'll go back to 4, and then back to 5. So yeah, we do on average through our restaurants every day 1,000 covers every day. So we're quite small compared to Joseph, but it's quite busy for us. We do quite a lot of work. And going back to the students here, Angus mentioned. Some of the students, I know the Scots girls, when they come in, were quite shy there. But for us, and in this short time, these 4 days that they're together with the other 3 countries, it's seen them grow and become more confident themselves. And that's another part of what the Nations Cup's about. So, yeah, long may it continue. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Team Canada. Chelsea and Ryan.
Right here. Okay, so today we have inspired dish from PEI in Canada. So everything on the plate can be grown on the island, and it is all fresh and just lovely tasting. So here we have is sous vide tenderloin, and it's around it's rolled in a leek ash and mushroom ash. And then underneath is a nice natural sauce. There is rutabaga puree, roasted fingerling potatoes, some nice fresh baby radishes, Romanesco, and some seared little baby red onions.
So how have you enjoyed this week?
It has been very exhausting, but a lot of fun.
And what's been the highlight for you?
I think just like Ryan and I being able to really show what we can do and like show off the flavors and be able to like work together as a team and just build connections.
Okay. Favorite box?
I like the goat box.
Right.
The game, yeah. I've never even seen half a goat, so yeah, it was pretty cool.
Okay, well done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to take a second here and again thank Chef Joseph, Ian, and Angus for all of their scoring and judging for the week that gets us to this point. We're actually going to present some hardware. So judges, thank you very much. So I'm going to present all the mystery box medallions for the week. So as of right now, the students don't know how they scored or what their medal placement was for any of the categories. So it's a pretty exciting time. So I'm going to bring teams up alphabetically, and I'm going to go through each individual category of how they medaled. And I believe we're going to have their particular dish that's going to come up on the screen. So with that, can Ryan and Chelsea from Team Canada please come forward? All right, so with the appetizer category, gold. Pasta, gold. Fish, shellfish, gold. Meat and game, silver. Poultry, gold, best of show. Dessert, gold. National dish, gold. Ladies and gentlemen, Team Canada. Team Mexico, please come forward. Appetizer, gold, best of show. Pasta, silver. Fish, shellfish, gold, best of show. Meat and game, gold, best of show. Poultry, gold. Dessert, gold. Best of show. National dish, gold. Ladies and gentlemen, Team Mexico. Team Scotland, please come forward. Appetizer, silver. Pasta, bronze. Fish, shellfish, gold. Meat, game, bronze. Poultry, silver. Dessert, silver. National dish, gold. Best of show. Ladies and gentlemen, Team Scotland. Team USA, please come forward. Appetizer, silver. Pasta, gold. Best of show. Fish, shellfish, gold. Meat, game, silver. Poultry, gold. Dessert, gold. National dish, gold. Ladies and gentlemen, Team USA. All right, so for those of you that have been with us, now's the point where we typically have awarded the national or the Nations Cup champion. The guys from Scotland showed up this week, and the Federation of Chefs in Scotland thought it would be a good idea to introduce a new category and a new award to the competition. So we're going to call that the Friendship Award. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Graham and have him talk a little bit about the Friendship Award before we actually award the cup. Graham?
Thank you. You'll see, oh, there he is. You'll see a gentleman either side of me on the monitor. His name was Bill Kendrew, and Bill was a great mentor to many of us, not least Angus, Ian and myself back in Scotland. He was a member of many culinary institutes and companies, and started his life out as an army chef. Went through the army, and then after a career in the army went into contract catering with a large company in Scotland, House of Fraser. After he worked for a period of maybe 40 years within the company, he then went into education, and that was his real passion. He enjoyed passing on his skills and nurturing the kids. And all along, it was all about friendship. It was all about bringing everybody into the company and being part of the learning. So what we thought was, it was a very nice touch. Sadly, Bill passed away back in November last year, and myself and Ian had a chat and thought it was a nice touch to consider donating an award towards the Nations Cup with friendship in mind. So all these students are here. They came here on day one. Nobody knew anybody. They were all quite wary of each other, but like that, after 2 or 3 hours, great icebreaker by Chef Charlie, they were one unit, and they've been one unit ever since then. And we've just been watching them and how they interact with each other, not just socially, but professionally in the kitchens as well. And it's become quite evident that some of them have just been standing out as being very good socialisers as well as very professional culinarians in that matter. So after a discussion between ourselves, the 3 judges, we decided to award the inaugural Friendship Trophy to, aptly, Team Canada, who are next to me. Well done. Congratulations.
All right, thank you, Graham. So with that, we come to the Nations Cup champion for 2019. Chef Joseph, can you please bring the envelope up?
Thank you. Well, you guys made me nervous with all that. Whew. Would you please join me in one more big, huge round of applause for all of these great culinarians. Oh, you guys want to know what's in here? Oh, sorry. I want to, before I read to you our Nations Cup winner for this year, I want to again say thank you to all of our staff, all our faculty here at GRCC, all of the great judges. It's good to see our judges back. I always have to say, Angus, good to see you on campus. You belong at this place, my friend. I also say to all of you as guests, we're glad that you're here tonight. You're part of the GRCC family because you got stuffed just like the rest of us did. So thank you for coming. Once we announce our winner, obviously some good picture times and all that good thing, but that'll be the conclusion of our evening tonight. Please drive safe going home, and remember where the best community college in the country sits. You're in it right here. So thank you very much. So, without any further ado, I want to announce to you the winners of the 2019 Nations Cup right here at Grand Rapids Community College. Please join me in congratulating Gabriela and Emilio, Team Mexico. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. One more hand for Team Mexico, please. Thank you very much. We will see you back here again for Nations Cup in 2 years. Thank you.